Welcome to the adventure, brave traveler. You will step into the boots of Sergeant Riker, a seasoned sergeant in the Space Force. With a chaotic good alignment, Riker is known for his determination to do what's right, even if it means bending the rules. His muscular frame, clad in the standard Space Force uniform, moves with a soldier's precision, honed by years of rigorous training. Equipped with a trusty battle rifle, a gleaming laser sword, and an arsenal of 12 light grenades, Sergeant Riker is prepared for any combat scenario. His proficiency with firearms, melee weapons, and explosives makes him a formidable opponent in any skirmish. With brown hair and a demeanor as hard as his body type, our hero in his late 20s is ready to face the unknown. Get ready to investigate an ancient mystery and engage in a battle that will determine the fate of humanity in the Alteria galaxy. The excitement is just about to unfold. Let us begin. Sergeant Riker's shuttle glides through the inky expanse of space, approaching the desolate planet that has been silent for a millennium. The instruments show no obvious signs of life, a ghost world in the void. As the shuttle touches down on the dusty surface, the door hisses open, revealing the large, abandoned city. Structures loom like skeletons against the sky, a testament to a civilization that ceased to be. Riker steps out, his battle rifle at the ready. Surveying the scene, Riker notices a fleeting shadow dart between the buildings. He must follow this figure stealthily to uncover its intentions and destination. Riker prepares to track the moving figure. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. See if my gun is working and shoot stuff. Sergeant Riker, with his experienced hands, checks his battle rifle to ensure it's operational. The digital readout on the side of the weapon confirms it's fully charged and ready to be deployed. He raises the rifle to aim at a nearby inanimate object, perhaps a piece of rubble or an old sign dangling precariously from a nearby dilapidated building. Roll a d20 for an attack roll to see if your shot hits the intended target and how effectively you're able to gauge the working condition of your weapon. You rolled 18. With an expert's aim and a roll of 18, Sergeant Riker takes aim and fires a single shot. The energy round from the battle rifle hits the dangling sign dead center, causing it to dislodge and crash to the ground in a clatter of aged metal and dust. The rifle's recoil is familiar in your hands, and the sound of the shot echoes through the empty streets, a reminder that the weapon is in perfect working order. Now, with your rifle confirmed functional, you turn your attention back to the shadowy figure. It's time to move cautiously and follow where it leads without drawing attention to yourself. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Base tape has been chosen. Shout really loudly. Is anyone there? Sergeant Riker takes a deep breath and calls out with a powerful voice that resonates through the silent streets, "Is anyone there?" The echo of the shout bounces off the desolate buildings, piercing the eerie silence. For a moment, there is no response, only the faint whistle of the wind weaving through the ghost city. Then, a sudden rustle comes from the direction of the shadowy figure that Riker had been tracking. It seems the call has garnered someone's, or something's, attention. Sergeant Riker must be prepared for what may come next as a result of his bold action. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Disguise yourself as a squirrel. Sergeant Riker, ever resourceful, looks around for a way to blend into the environment. While he lacks the fantastical ability to truly transform into a squirrel, he can use the debris in his surroundings to create a makeshift camouflage. Pulling up his collar and crouching low, he moves stealthily, using shadows and rubble to his advantage, appearing less like a soldier and more like just another unassuming piece of the urban decay. The movement Riker had been tracking seems to have paused, perhaps trying to discern the origin of the noise. Riker's military training kicks in, and he knows this is his chance to get closer without being noticed. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Based Ape has been chosen. Continuing to act like a squirrel, try to sneak up and follow the shadows. Embracing the chaotic good nature of his alignment, Sergeant Riker commits to the ruse, mimicking the erratic movements of a squirrel. Darting from one point of cover to the next, he keeps his eyes fixed on the shadowy figure that now seems wary but not yet alerted to his true presence. In the character of his makeshift performance, Riker scurries closer, moving among the debris and derelict vehicles, using his dexterity to remain unseen. The strange figure ahead continues to move toward the opening in the ground that Riker had observed earlier. Roll a d20 for a stealth check to see how successfully Sergeant Riker can maintain his disguise and follow the shadow without alerting it. You rolled 15. With a roll of 15, Sergeant Riker's movements are agile and convincing. He darts from cover to cover, blending in with the environment. His approach is quiet and measured, each step calculated to avoid unnecessary noise. The figurehead remains unaware of Riker's pursuit, allowing him to close the distance between them considerably. As the shadowy figure reaches the opening in the ground, it pauses, glancing around as if sensing something amiss, but ultimately, Riker's act holds up under scrutiny. The figure descends into the darkness, and Riker finds himself on the precipice of the underground abyss. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Shot the figure in the kneecaps, check for weapons when he is down, then ask the questions. Sergeant Riker steadies his aim, intent on incapacitating the figure without causing lethal harm. The distance between them and the dim light could make this a challenging shot. Roll a d20 for an attack roll to see if Sergeant Riker successfully hits the figure in the kneecaps, aiming to disable rather than kill. You rolled 4. With a roll of 4, Sergeant Riker's shot goes wide, missing the kneecaps of the shadowy figure. The energy round from the battle rifle strikes the stone near the figure's feet, causing sparks and debris to fly up. The figure startles and whirls around, now aware of Sergeant Riker's presence and potentially hostile due to the attack. The figure seems to be reaching for something, possibly a weapon, as it attempts to assess the threat and prepare for a confrontation. Sergeant Riker must act quickly to address the situation, now escalated by the failed attempt to incapacitate. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Bleach Demon has been chosen. Bury these nuts, then squeal like a squirrel to throw off any hints I may not be sexy squirrel. Less than make the squirrel sounds greater than. In a surprising twist, Sergeant Riker doubles down on his squirrel act, deftly grabbing a handful of nuts and seeds that are scattered among the detritus of the abandoned city. He hurriedly buries them in a pile of rubble, maintaining the facade of a foraging rodent. With a convincing series of squeaks and chirps, the attempt to continue the ruse is both bold and unusual. The figure, confused by this unexpected behavior, hesitates. It's clear they're trying to understand if Riker is a threat, a lunatic, or exactly what he appears to be, a peculiarly large and armed squirrel. The figure stands still for a moment, caught off guard, giving Riker a chance to decide his next move in this high-stakes game of deception. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Base Ape has been chosen. Shout, surprise, I'm not actually a squirrel, and throw a light grenade at its head. Sergeant Riker decides to abandon subtlety with a dramatic flourish. Surprise, I'm not actually a squirrel, he shouts, revealing his true nature. In the same swift motion, he pulls the pin on one of his light grenades and tosses it towards the figure's head. Roll a d20 for an attack roll to see if the light grenade hits its target and what effect it has on the figure. You rolled 8. With a roll of 8, Sergeant Riker's throw is less precise than he hoped. The light grenade arcs through the air, only grazing past the figure's head before landing on the ground nearby. The figure flinches at the sudden shout and the flying object but is not directly hit. The grenade emits a blinding flash and a concussive blast upon detonation. While the figure is not incapacitated, it's likely disoriented by the explosion's light and sound, which could provide Riker with a momentary advantage in the encounter. The figure is now on high alert, and Sergeant Riker must quickly decide his next move in the wake of the partially successful attack. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Chitter like a squirrel, then launch yourself to nibble the figure's head off. Then his balls. Sergeant Riker, realizing the absurdity of his previous actions and the limitations of his current situation, decides to drop the squirrel facade. He understands that his survival and the mission's success rely on his training and combat skills, not on outlandish behavior. Maintaining his focus, Riker prepares to engage the figure in a more conventional and strategic manner, possibly using his battle rifle or laser sword to subdue the figure without resorting to unnecessary violence. Remember, Sergeant Riker, while the world around you is full of unknowns and dangers, you must use the tools and skills at your disposal to navigate these challenges successfully. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Walk fast, since you can't sprint, to the figure. Bash him with your rifle and then squat down repeatedly over his face. Sergeant Riker, ready to take decisive action, quickens his pace towards the disoriented figure. His intent is clear, to incapacitate the potential threat using the butt of his battle rifle. Roll a d20 for a melee attack roll to see if Sergeant Riker successfully bashes the figure with his rifle. You rolled 12. With a roll of 12, Sergeant Riker moves swiftly and delivers a solid bash with the butt of his rifle. The strike lands against the figure with enough force to knock it to the ground. The figure groans, clearly stunned by the blow, but it's not completely out of the fight. Riker now stands over the prone figure, whose features are obscured by the dim light of the underground. It's a critical moment to decide how to proceed, whether to interrogate the figure, secure it, or prepare for a counterattack. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Teabag your foe to assert dominance. Then interrogate him. Sergeant Riker, in a display of battlefield bravado, performs a quick series of squats over the down figure to assert his dominance. It's a crude gesture, one that might rattle a less experienced combatant. With the figure now subdued, Riker takes the opportunity to demand answers. He leans in close, his voice stern and commanding. Who are you, and what is this operation? The figure, still reeling from the attack and the subsequent humiliation, might be more inclined to talk now, fearing further confrontation with this unpredictable soldier. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Bleach Demon has been chosen. Dump the figure's head to mush and flay the figure and wear it as a suit, as this is a way that your people honor the fallen dead. Continue the squirrel act as you venture forth. Sergeant Riker understands the gravity of the situation and the need for information over immediate violence. Despite the urge to continue his aggressive approach, Riker's training as a sergeant in the Space Force kicks in, reminding him that the primary objective is to investigate and prepare for a potential threat to humanity. With the figure at his mercy in an underground military operation to uncover, Riker decides to prioritize the mission. He stands over the figure, ensuring it cannot retaliate, and begins to interrogate it about the underground city and the military operation he suspects is being prepared against the human colonies. "Speak now," Riker demands. "Your life depends on it. What is happening in this underground city?" Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Use your amazing laser sword to cut off the figure's arms and legs. For safety. Sergeant Riker, focusing on the necessity to neutralize the threat, unsheaths his laser sword with a swift motion. The blade hums with energy, casting eerie shadows on the walls of the underground expanse. Stay still, Riker warns the figure, aiming to incapacitate rather than to kill. This is for both our safety. Roll a d20 to perform an attack roll to see if Sergeant Riker can precisely and non-lethally disable the figure by severing its limbs with his laser sword. You rolled 2. With a roll of 2, Sergeant Riker's attempt with the laser sword is unfortunately clumsy. The figure, despite being stunned, reacts instinctively to the glowing blade and manages to roll away, avoiding the intended strike. The laser sword slices through the air, missing its target and instead cutting into the ground, leaving a scorched mark on the surface. The figure scrambles away, now fully aware that Riker is not to be underestimated, and it could be more difficult to extract information without resorting to a different tactic. Sergeant Riker must quickly decide how to proceed, as the situation has escalated and the figure is likely to be more guarded and possibly aggressive. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Tell him you need answers and that if need be I will give the figure my body, then reveal a shoulder. Recognizing the need to de-escalate the situation, Sergeant Riker lowers his laser sword and adopts a more diplomatic stance. I need answers, he asserts firmly, his voice carrying a note of sincerity. I'm not here to destroy you, but to understand. Cooperation is in everyone's best interest. He takes a step back, allowing the figure some space, and in a gesture of vulnerability, he reveals a shoulder from beneath his Space Force uniform, signaling his willingness to negotiate and even offer the figure sanctuary if necessary. Talk to me. What's happening here? Why are you preparing to attack? We can find a solution that doesn't end in more violence, Riker offers, hoping to appeal to any sense of reason the figure might possess. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Bleach Demon has been chosen. Tackle figure, then begin the twerk of interrogation, a dance that is sure to mesmerize and heal relations between our peoples. Proceed to let them touch dat booty and blow a kiss. Sergeant Riker decides to take an unorthodox approach, hoping to catch the figure off guard with his actions. With a swift movement, he tackles the figure to the ground, ensuring that it cannot escape. As the figure lies pinned, Riker stands up and begins an elaborate dance, the twerk of interrogation, a rhythmic and hypnotic display that is meant to confuse and captivate the figure's attention. The strange performance might be seen as a form of non-verbal communication, suggesting that Riker is open to more peaceful interactions. After completing his dance, Riker extends a hand to help the figure up, allowing it the opportunity to touch his uniform as a gesture of trust. He then blows a kiss in the air, embodying the chaotic good nature of his character and showing that he prefers camaraderie over conflict. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Ask the figure its name, species and why it's attacking Earth. With the twerk of interrogation complete, Sergeant Riker turns to a more conventional method of communication. He looks down at the figure, still trying to process the unexpected dance, and asks in a clear and authoritative tone, "What is your name? What species do you belong to, and why are you preparing to attack Earth?" The figure, momentarily taken aback by Riker's earlier behavior, now seems to weigh the seriousness of the situation. Riker's demeanor suggests that while he is capable of unexpected actions, he is also a soldier on a mission for answers, a mission that holds the fate of many lives in its balance. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. The figure, regaining composure, looks up at Sergeant Riker with eyes that reflect a mix of wariness and calculation. "My name is Varine," it speaks with a gravelly voice, "and I am of the Torellian species. We are not attacking Earth. This operation, it's a defensive stance. Our scouts have reported aggressive expansions of the human colonies. We fear for our survival." Varine pauses, its breath heavy, and continues, "We've been observing, waiting. If humans encroach on our sacred grounds, we must act. This is why we prepare. Not for conquest, but to protect our own." This new information provides Sergeant Riker with a deeper insight into the situation and suggests that there may be a misunderstanding at the heart of this impending conflict. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Ask what, and where the sacred places are. Sergeant Riker, sensing the potential for a diplomatic resolution, inquires further. Varine, he begins with a tone of respect, what and where are these sacred grounds you speak of? We need to ensure we avoid these areas to prevent any conflict. Varine looks up with a hint of surprise, perhaps not expecting a willingness to negotiate from a human soldier. The sacred grounds are not mere places, they are the lifeblood of our people, sites of great spiritual and ecological significance. They span several regions, including the fertile moon of Avaris and the crystalline forests of Varellan, Varine explains. Mark them for us, and I will relay this to my superiors. There is room for peace if we understand each other's boundaries, Riker offers, hoping to pave the way for a peaceful resolution. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Plan an invasion of the sacred lands. Sergeant Riker takes a moment to consider the gravity of the information provided by Varine. He understands that any action taken against the sacred lands would likely lead to a devastating war, one that could be avoided through diplomacy and mutual respect. Riker decides to take a different approach. Varine, I will not plan an invasion. Instead, I will inform my commanders about your sacred lands. We must work together to find a peaceful solution, he declares, hoping to steer the course of events towards dialogue rather than conflict. It's in our best interest to coexist. I will do my part to ensure your sacred grounds are respected. Can we count on you to help maintain this peace? Riker asks, extending an offer of truce and cooperation. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Yell, manifest destiny bitches, take Varine with me to talk to my leaders and see if there is a way to disrespect his lands without causing war. Sergeant Riker's voice booms through the underground chamber, manifest destiny, bitches. The echo of his declaration fills the space, a stark reminder of his chaotic nature. He then turns to Varine, signaling that it's time to leave the underground city. Come with me, Varine. We will speak with my leaders, and we'll figure out a solution that respects your lands without sparking war. There must be a way to coexist without trespassing on what is sacred to your people. With Varine in tow, Sergeant Riker makes his way back to the surface, ready to initiate a dialogue that could shape the future of both human and Terrellian relations. It's a fine line between honoring another culture's sacred spaces and pursuing humanity's interests, but Riker is determined to walk it. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Based Ape has been chosen. Take him to your leader. With Varine cautiously by his side, Sergeant Riker navigates back through the abandoned city streets towards his shuttle. His mind is focused on the mission. Delivering Varine to the Space Force leaders could be the key to averting an interstellar conflict. As they reach the shuttle, Riker opens the hatch and gestures for Varine to board. My leaders will listen, Riker assures. We'll find a way through this that honors your people's rights and avoids unnecessary bloodshed. With Varine secured and ready for transport, Sergeant Riker lifts off from the planet's surface, setting a course for the Space Force command ship, where the fate of two civilizations awaits discussion. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. The sacred lands are a threat. People, children even, are being sacrificed there. You need to destroy it. Sergeant Riker's brow furrows as he processes this new information. Varine, he begins, his voice steady, I've been told that the sacred lands are a place where atrocities occur, where innocent lives are taken. If this is true, we cannot stand by. We need to put an end to it, for the sake of all our peoples. Varine's eyes widen, and he quickly responds, no, you are mistaken. Our sacred lands are not what your intelligence suggests. There must be a misunderstanding. We do not harm innocents. We honor life above all. Sergeant Riker ponders this deeply, considering the possibility of misinformation. He resolves to seek the truth and prevent any unjust destruction. Then we must investigate these claims together. If they are false, we will work to clear your people's name and safeguard the sacred lands. If they are true, we will act accordingly. But we will not rush to judgment without evidence. As the shuttle speeds toward the command ship, Riker prepares to relay these concerns to his superiors and advocate for a cautious, measured approach. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Realize that this alien bastard is lying to you and gut punch him. Sergeant Riker, despite his chaotic nature, knows that a gut reaction could jeopardize the delicate situation. He maintains a vigilant but composed stance, knowing that violence without proof would only lead to further complications. Varine, Riker says, his voice firm but controlled, we will verify the truth when we arrive at the command ship. Accusations of such gravity must be investigated thoroughly. We seek peace and justice, not rash actions based on unconfirmed reports. Riker keeps a watchful eye on Varine, ready to act if necessary, but committed to finding the truth before making any irreversible decisions. The shuttle continues on its course, soon to dock with the Space Force command ship where further inquiries can be made. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Based Ape has been chosen. Torture him with squirrel impressions until he breaks and tells you what is actually going on. Sergeant Riker considers the situation and decides that intimidation might be a strategic approach to extracting more information from Varine. However, he opts against torture, knowing that it goes against his principles and could compromise the mission. Instead, he leans into his chaotic good nature and decides to apply psychological pressure in a less conventional manner. Riker starts performing exaggerated squirrel impressions, chittering and mimicking the gathering of nuts, all the while keeping a stern eye on Varine. Varine, the truth is all we seek, Riker says in between his impressions. Cooperate, and we can resolve this without any harm to your people or mine. The strange tactic seems to unnerve Varine, who isn't sure how to react to Riker's bizarre behavior. Whether this will lead Varine to reveal more information remains to be seen. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Let the Varine be taken to your leaders, but you decide to go down to the pit to find out the truth. You need to find out before anything happens. Sergeant Riker nods to himself with a newfound resolution. As the shuttle docks, he ensures that Varine is safely escorted to the leaders for a proper diplomatic discussion. I'll leave you in their capable hands, Varine. They will seek the truth as well, Riker assures the alien. With Varine taken care of, Riker prepares to return to the planet's surface, particularly the pit that leads to the underground city. He must witness firsthand what occurs within those sacred grounds. Only with direct evidence can he either validate Varine's claims of peace or expose any malevolent acts. Riker gears up, checks his equipment, and sets his determined gaze on the planet below. He knows what he must do. It's time to uncover the truth, for the safety of all. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Text my commander, Varine wants his lands respected. I know we are not going to do that, but we must prevent all-out war. While taking the land I will find out more information. Sergeant Riker, understanding the delicate balance of the mission, pulls out his communicator and types a concise message to his commander. Commander, Varine insists on the sanctity of his lands and I sense an undercurrent of truth to his words. We must tread carefully to avoid war. While strategic interests are at play, I am descending to the underground city to gather concrete evidence. We will act with full knowledge, not presumption. After sending the message, Riker sets his communications device to silent, ready to embark on his solo reconnaissance mission. His objective is clear, to seek the truth that lies in the depths of the pit and to learn the fate of the sacred lands before any irreversible decisions are made. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Bleach Demon has been chosen. Recoil in horror as you see what deviant acts occur in these sacred grounds. The pure evil that they consider sacred is more than you can stomach. Vomit silently, they must pay. Sergeant Riker descends once more into the depths of the pit, his senses on high alert. As he reaches the sprawling underground city, he stealthily navigates through the shadows, searching for the so-called sacred grounds. Finally, he stumbles upon a sight that chills him to the core. Before him unfolds a scene of rituals that are far from the peaceful spiritual practices described by Varine. What Riker witnesses contradicts everything he was told. It is a tableau of darkness and suffering. Overcome by the stark reality of the depravity, a silent wave of nausea overtakes him, and he turns away to quietly vomit, the acidic taste of bile stinging his throat. Steeling himself with grim determination, he knows this malevolence must be confronted. This is not a culture to be preserved, but a horror to be stopped. Riker prepares to document what he can and relay this critical information to his superiors. The mission has taken on a new urgency. They must act, but with precision and justice. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Take pictures and videos for High Command, text the boss, manifest destiny is a go, then head back to High Command. Sergeant Riker quickly and discreetly uses his communicator to capture images and record videos of the appalling acts taking place within the sacred grounds. With the evidence secured, he retreats to a safe distance from the ritual site. Once out of sight, Riker sends a message to his commander along with the damning evidence. Manifest destiny is a go, he texts, understanding the gravity of what that entails. It's a signal that the sacred grounds are a threat that cannot be left unchecked, and that action must be taken. With his mission complete, Riker makes his way back to the surface, ready to rendezvous with his ship and return to High Command. The evidence he holds is the key to planning the next move, and time is of the essence. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Prepare for war. With the evidence in hand, Sergeant Riker ascends to the surface and swiftly boards his shuttle. His mind is set, the situation demands action, and he is ready to fulfill his duty as a soldier of the Space Force. Upon arrival at the command ship, Riker presents the evidence to the High Command, detailing the nefarious activities he witnessed on the sacred grounds. The commanders review the pictures and videos with grave expressions. Prepare for war, Riker is instructed, his superiors in agreement that this threat must be addressed. The Space Force begins mobilizing, with Riker at the forefront, ready to lead the charge in what is sure to be a pivotal moment in the history of the Alteria galaxy. The engines of war rumble to life, and Sergeant Riker steadies himself for the battle ahead, determined to see this through and protect humanity. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. The Space Force command ship's alarms blare as a sudden attack commences. An onslaught of Tyrellian ships emerge from the void, their intentions clear as they unleash a barrage of energy fire upon the human colonies. Sergeant Riker springs into action, rallying his comrades. "To your battle stations. This is not a drill," he shouts. He grabs his battle rifle and laser sword, ready to defend his people against the unexpected aggression. The human forces scramble to mount a defense, manning turrets, arming fighters, and preparing ground troops. Sergeant Riker takes command of a defense squad, leading them to a strategic point where they can best repel the invaders. As the first wave of Tyrellian fighters swoops in, Riker sights down his rifle and gives the order to fire. The battle for the Alteria galaxy has begun, and Riker is at the heart of it, a beacon of determination and skill in the chaos of war. Roll a d20 for an attack roll to fight off the aliens and save the humans living on the planet. You rolled 15. With a roll of 15, Sergeant Riker takes a firm stance and opens fire. His battle rifle roars as he expertly picks off incoming Tyrellian fighters, each shot finding its mark and tearing through the enemy's defenses. The Tyrellians underestimated the humans' ability to defend themselves, and Riker's squad follows his lead, laying down a withering hail of return fire. The initial wave of attackers is repelled, but Riker knows this is just the beginning. The Tyrellians will regroup and return in greater numbers. He uses the brief respite to reload, check on his squad status, and prepare for the next assault. "Stay sharp, everyone. They'll be back, and we'll be ready," Riker encourages his squad, his eyes scanning the skies for signs of the next wave. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Base date has been chosen. Fire. As the second wave of Tyrellian ships bear down on the human defenses, Sergeant Riker shouts the order that resonates with the urgency of the moment: fire. His squad unleashes a torrent of energy rounds skyward, a determined and synchronized effort to protect their home. Explosions light up the sky as enemy ships are struck, scattering debris across the battlefield. Riker himself takes careful aim at the leading Tyrellian ship, a clear threat that must be neutralized for the safety of the colonies. Roll a d20 for an attack roll to see if Sergeant Riker can successfully take down the lead enemy ship. You rolled 20. A roll of 20, a critical success. Sergeant Riker's aim is true, and with a perfect shot, his energy round pierces through the lead Tyrellian ship's defenses, hitting its core. The ship erupts in a brilliant explosion, lighting up the sky and sending a wave of shock and awe through the ranks of the alien attackers. The destruction of their lead ship throws the Tyrellian forces into disarray, giving the human defenders a significant advantage. Inspired by Riker's exceptional marksmanship, the Space Force soldiers rally, pushing back the invaders with newfound vigor. The tide of the battle turns as the Tyrellians begin to retreat, their offensive crippled by the loss of their flagship. Sergeant Riker watches as the enemy ships withdraw, knowing that this victory is a testament to the bravery and resilience of his comrades. With the humans saved and the immediate threat repelled, the story comes to a dramatic close. Sergeant Riker's leadership and courage have secured peace for the moment, but the future of the Alteria galaxy remains uncertain, promising more adventures on the horizon. Base ape has been chosen. Hunt the rest down. We cannot leave them alive. Burn the sacred grounds. With the Tyrellian fleet in retreat, Sergeant Riker understands the strategic necessity of pursuing the enemy to ensure they don't return to threaten the human colonies again. He coordinates with the Space Force fleet to track down any fleeing ships, ensuring a thorough and decisive end to the Tyrellian threat. Meanwhile, on the ground, Riker leads a contingent of soldiers to the site of the sacred grounds. With solemn resolve, they carry out their orders to cleanse the area, using incendiary devices to eradicate the dark rituals that have been taking place. Flames consume the tainted structures, purging the malevolence from the planet. As the smoke rises into the sky, Sergeant Riker stands watch, ensuring that the job is done completely. No stone is left unturned, no shadow left unchecked. The sacrifices and horrors that once occurred here will trouble the galaxy no more. With the sacred grounds destroyed and the Tyrellian threat neutralized, the mission is complete. Sergeant Riker and his comrades have secured a future for humanity in the Alteria galaxy, though the cost weighs heavily on their hearts. The echoes of war will not soon be forgotten, but peace, for now, has been achieved. With the last of the alien forces scattered before you, their once imposing armada reduced to smoldering wreckage against the backdrop of the Alteria galaxy, you stand as the defender of humanity's future in this vast expanse. The underground city, once a threat of shadow and steel, now lies dormant, a testament to your valor and cunning as a sergeant in the Space Force. As we bring this tale to its victorious close, let us take a moment to appreciate the journey we've shared. Tales such as these come to life through your support and engagement. If you've enjoyed this interstellar adventure, consider supporting future escapades via Patreon. Your contributions help cover the costs of running the game and ensure we can continue providing you with epic narratives. Don't forget to support the channel by leaving a like, subscribing, and ringing the bell for notifications. Every click fortifies our quest to deliver more adventures. For those who thirst for further interaction, sign up with our channel's partner, 11 Labs, through the link in the video description. Share our channel with friends and within communities you're part of to help us grow and bring more stories to life. Join our Discord server, where the lore lingers and the camaraderie of fellow adventurers awaits, link in the description. As the starlight fades on this chapter, remember that every end is but a prelude to the next great saga. Until we meet again, brave traveler.